Hey, welcome to Optimize Your Body with Martin Silva, where we talk raw, uncut facts to truly help you optimize your body. By the way, I'm recording it now, but whatever, man. I can, if the listener, if we start talking about stuff which we don't really want people to hear, I'll just cut it out.
We started.
Yeah, rolling, mate. So, yeah, what's going on then? Anyway, seriously, what was I going to say? You off work today? How come you dressed like a criminal?
I was dressed pretty sharp. Going to snap back.
You are, mate, to be honest. What, you wear that to the gym or?
A grey prison t-shirt. And I just wear it around, man. My hair's looking a bit messy and I need for the barber.
You're looking like a proper American now, mate, I think. For real, like.
As long as my accent doesn't change. I actually have to do lessons on a neutral American accent, so I'm going to be starting that soon as well for like commercial acting. Right.
Okay.
So I'm hoping not to lose my British one, but we'll see.
Yeah, man, I was going to say... Go on.
I thought it would be an advantage having a British accent over here with regards to that, but this could be a bit of a disadvantage, so I may have to step my game up a little bit with my American. Yes,
it could be good and bad, but I would say more. Am I still there? Sorry, I think I just cut the video off. I would have thought like, what's it called? Yeah, like it makes you unique, doesn't it? Having the British accent, like especially a Welsh accent, it's different, isn't it? It's good, man.
Yeah.
And I get right back. My name's Andrew Bond. It's like James Bond, the movie star.
That's how I start every conversation, man.
Yeah.
Everyone loves the last name, though, but I'm used to it, so I just don't, I don't use it to my advantage, I guess.
That's it.
But when my last name is Bond, then there's comments made every time,
Oh my God, like, is that like Bond, like, oh my God, like James Bond? Is that what they're like?
Yeah, like that was in Vegas, you remember, by the pool?
Yeah. But
you guys mad.
Oh my God, like you guys totally work out. No, but what are we saying then, seriously? Yeah, so how are you getting on anyway with the modeling stuff, man? With Wilhelmina? Any movement?
It's pretty good, man. I've been in a magazine or two lately, so
nice, bro.
It's been exciting. I'm still obviously want more, but it's a work in progress, I guess. It's I'm booking a lot of test shoots this month. In a way, like a test shoot is where you go and work with a photographer and do different type of looks, I guess, clothing looks, commercial, fitness, nice. Just to build up your portfolio, and just improve your confidence behind the camera. Because it's all relatively new to me, so I'm still learning, going through the process.
Yeah, of course.
I'm hoping to get like a big shoot soon. If I can get like a Nike, Adidas, or something like that, that'd be awesome, Yeah. I kind of take it as a blessing. Like last year, I just thought this wasn't going to happen. Got signed to Wilhelmina, and I've had opportunities ever since. So I'm happy that I've actually come to New York and that I've landed a job or two, mate. That's definitely a goal of mine.
Mate, that's good goal, man. Well, look at where you were though, mate. You got to like look. What's that quote, man? It's one of my new Instagram posts actually, mate. I forgot it. What am I like? No, I was gonna say, yeah, like Silva Models. Remember that, mate? Like I came over there just for the listeners. I came over there, obviously, and then got a bit excited, landed that modeling contract, and then I was going to move out there. I was going to move out to New York. That was the plan, to live out there, and then obviously I didn't get the working visa. Didn't work out for me, but that Silva Models turned out to be a nightmare. Like I know they're like, even if they are listening, who cares? They're a nightmare. But mate, to step your game up, I mean, you've literally just like catapulted to the top, haven't you? Really, going from there to Wilhelmina. So happy days, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of competition in New York, but I guess that's the challenge I want. Like I need, So for me, like most of my training now is kind of geared towards that, like becoming a top model. Obviously focusing on health as well, which becomes easier, but I'm still tuning myself in for different shoots, experimenting with different ways to do that. And I'm enjoying the process as well, Mark, to be honest.
Nice, mate. Nice. I was going to say about the modeling stuff. I should be signing with another company called Wink Models. They're pretty big here, actually. So I've got a meeting with them next week. But yeah, the summertime, summer here now, mate. Mate, today was literally like the hottest day. Mate, it was like 35 degrees, but it's like a warm breeze. So normally it's like a cool breeze from the coast, but mate, it was so hot. It was a boiling hot. It was like Vegas heat, mate. You know, in Vegas, when we're walking around hungover though, feeling like shit, and that like boiling breeze, and then you go inside and the aircon hits you. That's what it's like here, mate. It's, so anyway, I was just going to say, in the summer it gets busy with the modeling stuff. What's that?
No complaints.
No complaints, mate. What's it like there, man? Is it cold like being October in NYC?
It's really warm at the moment for some reason. It's been a little chilly, and this week, for the end of the week, it's picked back up again. So it's kind of teases you in ways. New York weather, it can be funny. Like, I'm not going to complain about any hot weather, man, because I know I've complained about the winter here before, but it's something you can't get used to. Like, it's a biting cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can wrap up warm as you want, and it gets you every time. The snow comes, and it's hard to walk around. It'd be easier if you were just driving in the car all the time, but unfortunately, you've got to go to work on the train. You've got to walk 15, 20 minutes as well, so it's a tough old slog of winter. So I kind of forget about it during summertime, because summertime's so nice. Springtime's so nice, and then when winter hits, it's a killer, honestly.
Mate, do you know what though? I went home, and I went home for like 11 days. So obviously me and Andr are both from Wales. So I went back to Cardiff. I was only there for like 9 days. Like it was long enough. I could have done longer. I obviously wanted to spend more time with my family and friends, but at the same time, I saw everyone. I saw all the boys like several times, and you just realize when you go back, you've only really got like a small circle, right? Did you realize that yourself? Because you moved over to Oz and then America. Do you realize that yourself? When you go back, you only see like selected, like no disrespect people who are your friends, but you mean like you only see the people who are really close to you, don't you?
Definitely, mate. And how do you feel about going home? Like, I was going to ask you actually. Obviously, you cherish time, and you mentioned on your Instagram post you cherish time with family and friends. Like, do you miss home at all, or do you feel at home in Oz now?
Mate, I'm not going to lie, man. I do miss home a bit. I do. It made me appreciate it much more. Like, going back, it just made me appreciate, where we're from. It's not too bad a place, mate. You know what I mean? I was Cardiff, capital of Wales. It's an awesome city, but as we've said before, like, it's more opportunity in places like London. Now, what I was thinking is like, I was a bit sad to come back, because I was loving London, and we were only there for like 2 nights, and I forgot how awesome of a city London is, man. What's your thoughts on London? Because you live in New York now. It's the same sort of thing with the hustle and bustle. Like, I love, mates, like, that's one thing that I think, no disrespect to Sydney, like, it's amazing, mate, but it's more like, it's huge. It's more like a big town. Like, the city's not, it's not like as dense as London and New York. No, mate. Like, do you know that? Like, some people hate it, right? But you must like it, bro. You've lived there for like, what, how long?
It's probably coming up to 5 years now. It's definitely when it can get exhausting when you live in a city like this. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like you're hustling all the time. You're on the go. You're going to work. You're traveling to different clients. You're up early. You're home late. You're trying to get different things going, like modeling and your career. But you definitely miss it when you leave. That's the biggest thing I can say. Like, you may be exhausted. You kind of over it. When you take a little break, you go on vacation or you go to see your family. Then you come back and you land, you're like, right, we're going to hit this hard again. The energy is there. You feel good about it. With regards to London, I haven't spent like a great amount of time there, but I'll be going there over Christmas time.
Nice. You're going there this Christmas, yeah?
Well, I will. I'll be staying there probably a night with a cousin.
Nice.
I'll go back home night.
You got a cousin? You got a cousin in London, yeah?
Yeah. So with the kids, so we'll go and see them as well. We'll just see kind of what the vibe is like there. Like, if I was to leave New York and go back to the UK, I'd probably have to live in a big city because of the energy and the violence, I think like Australia, I think it's just that the attitude towards work isn't quite as high in that regard. It's kind of like, it's more chill, right? So probably having a lot of energy, and people I wouldn't say they don't value, they don't put as much emphasis on work as they probably would in New York, especially out in London. So that's probably why you feel that different. You got beaches there, so it's probably more of a laid-back attitude.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, yes and no, really. Like, yeah, you are right, but obviously it depends what part you live in. But yeah, no, totally right, though. If you compare, like, Sydney as a city, like I said earlier, it's just nowhere near as much energy. Like, I love it. There's lots of energy here, but, like, for example, not that I go out partying and stuff like that, but when we were in New York, we went to a few like rooftop bars and that in the nights. And like there was people, we stayed in Shoreditch. There was people just on like 4 a.m. We got home like 4 a.m. But the streets were rammed. It was like kicking.
Yeah.
In Sydney, the lockout law, they have a lockout law because there was loads of violence in that. So like 1:30 a.m., 1:30 a.m. Basically all the clubs closed. But yeah, as you say, like when it comes to business and like work, I find it hard, mate, living right next to the beach. Like it's always like, I never thought it would be, but there's always distractions. You know what I mean? But I'm still getting shit done. But like in terms of the opportunity, like for example, with the modeling now, I'm hoping to just make some progress now. But, you have got Wilhelmina here, but, it's not on the scale of New York, obviously. That's why when I was in London, like I missed the culture. I missed British culture, which I never thought I would, and I like the history and all that kind of stuff. Like you haven't got, I'm just knocking Australia here. My people listening to this now. Like there's loads of people I know listening to it. I'm going to stop there. I love it really, but yeah. No,
I understand that. And how do you feel about like, it may be different, but definitely like banter-wise, like with your boys back home when you're having the crack and that. Probably a little, I don't know if this is, but I guess Australia is kind of a similar sense of humor, right?
That's right, mate, yeah. I find Americans are weird, though, in that sense. Like, I'm knocking all the nationalities here. Jesus Christ. Now, what I mean by that is Americans are cool, but what's it called? Like, it's just different banter, different humor, right? So, for example, like, they give you a lot of compliments. I remember in America, like, they give you much more compliments and stuff than places like Australia and Britain. Australia and Britain are quite similar in that sense, where, like, the banter is quite cold, like, you know how it is, mate. You know what we're like, us laws, mates. We just lay into each other. Like, we just go to the town. Like, what I found is with Americans, like, for example, I was in the gym, you were training at, and I remember this American guy, what's your mate's name again? The runner, the model and runner? Or is it?
TJ.
TJ, he comes over and he's like, nice shirt, man. And I was like, I was a bit taken back. So I was like, guys don't come up to you and say that in Britain and Australia, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh, nice one, mate. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just different. A little bit gay, but you know what I mean?
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's there's different personalities, I guess. You're like, regards to, I guess sarcasm is the biggest thing. We're pretty sarcastic, right, as Brits. So we'll say probably the wrong thing when you're in America.
Yeah.
Might take it the wrong way. So I guess you have to be a little bit more careful with what you say, especially when it's in like a political climate where it's a little bit crazy right now with, Donald Trump taking over and everyone has opinions and there's a big divide. So you do need to be more careful about how you speak to people and I guess clients and things like that. But you do get, like, I'd say there are certain amount of friends and clients that do have that kind of British sense of humor or watch British shows, so they understand where you're coming from and there's no nastiness in your comments, But I don't know how Aussies are probably similar to British, I guess, in some regards.
Yeah, you're right though. There, like, not quite on the level of Brits. Like, I know that's why I was saying, like, I miss British culture and humor because we are a different breed in that sense. Yeah. Like, oh man,
Welsh humor is different as well, right?
Yeah, it is, man. It is. But like with Kim, for example, my girlfriend, she has got lots of British mates, and her humor is literally like lays into you. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like, I don't know, when I eat, bro, I always have like a bit of, I always have a bit of food in my teeth. So I have to like floss afterwards. Like after every meal, mate, like she'll pick up on it straight away. She'll go, look, you got black rice in your teeth again, you mess. Can't take you anywhere. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
With the blue block of glasses as well.
I know, mate. I had them. Oh, where'd I put them? Yeah. I had them on them when I answered the door. I just leave them on just to annoy her.
How do you find those anyway?
Mates, I mean, they're not for everyone, like, you know what I mean? You have to take a screenshot, mate, and I'll put this as the promotion picture.
The listeners can't see it.
Make sure I'm on large screens so you can see how much of a chump I look like.
So, if you're not aware of what the glass is, if you're exposed to like blue light, well, it's a lovely picture there, mate. I
might as well put this on my story, yeah. So I know, man, that's like,
so why would you wear
absolute idiot. What's that, mate?
Tell the listeners why you wear them.
Oh yeah, okay. So blue light blockers, they block blue light, right? That's what they do. so basically, I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic. What's it called? They block. So when you watch like TV and any screen activity, any electrical activity, so whether you're looking at your phone or you're looking at a computer screen, Basically that blue light destroys your melatonin, right, in your brain. So that's the hormone that helps you sleep. And you need to be in, like, have a decent amount of darkness, basically, to stimulate that hormone, which really helps you sleep. So when you're looking at your screen, you're under a constant state of stress. You know what I mean? It's just like you're releasing the wrong hormones, like cortisol and some of the stress hormones you don't really want in your bloodstream before bed. So these things help block that light and therefore mitigate any of the harmful effects. So before bed, look like an idiot, put them on. You look like a welder, put them on. And literally, like, I'm taking them off, man. I can't. I'll be laughing a little bit for it. Take them off now.
Would you get them on the street, or?
Yeah, mate. I literally did, yeah. No, but come in the rubbish can. No, man, but what's it called? The orange. If you could see, well, you'll be able to see anyway, folks. But yeah. You can get ones which are a bit more subtle. These ones, everything's an orange, mate, so it's like a bit off-putting. You have to get used to them. But you haven't got any of you, mate. I'm surprised.
I mean, I've written them down to get, but I haven't. I've been terrible in that time anyway, really. Since I'm home late from work, so it's just like a routine was, my habits were changing. I was like starting to kind of use candlelight in the bedroom and just dim the lights or read before bed. But now I'm just like, I come in probably 9 o'clock. And then have food, watch like one episode or something, just to kind of switch off, and straight to bed, like straight to sleep. So nighttime routine definitely needs to change, man. Creating those healthy habits again.
Really?
Otherwise, yeah. I feel like I have a good sleep. Quality of sleep is great. I don't wake up. I'm bouncing up early in the morning. But yeah, that nighttime routine is pretty poor. Lacking that.
Yeah, no, I don't even watch any TV anymore, mate. I literally in the evenings. I know you don't watch much. You probably like watch a little bit. I know you've been reading books again now, and you like every day. Like 20 minutes a day you aim for, is it?
Well, at least 20, right? I've got opportunities on the train, so my journey's 15 minutes anyway, and I go maybe to see a private line in between. So there's no excuses. I enjoy it. It's just getting into that habit again. Definitely. Like, I'm usually listening to something that will help me learn, help improve my knowledge, like a podcast anyway. But reading, I enjoy. I thoroughly enjoy. So it's going to make me a little bit more intelligent. Hopefully, so I'm cracking on with it.
I know, mate. Well, I hope it would hurry up and kick in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Nah, you're intelligent, bro. We both are.
Coffee's kicking now, so
happy days, man. Happy days. Is that why you're twitching? Yeah, while your legs bouncing up and down. Are you sure it's just coffee you've had there, nothing else, mate? Right? I don't know. You seem a bit like I don't know.
Dunkin' Donuts, man. There's a excuse me, I got a bit of a cough. There's a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts down the street. So if you're a fatty like me, it's ideal.
I remember that place. Is that just over the bridge, or is that actually on your road? Like,
it's literally on the road,
That's a recipe for disaster. Oh, mate, what were those? Oh, yeah, we were talking. I don't know if we were on air then, actually, when we were talking about the pizzas and that. Remember those donuts from the place called Dough? I'll never forget. The place was called Dough, wasn't it?
I used to have those every week on stage.
Oh, mate, they were the biggest donuts ever. What is that about America? It's like the system's set up to fail, right? Like, I know everyone's obese nowadays, like, but like again, I'm wow. I really am going into people today, aren't I? No, everyone's obese in like in those countries like Australia, Australia, UK, and US, like these westernized countries, we have a pretty high obesity rate, but it's a global thing now. It's all over every continent. Like, it's crazy. But I was just going to say, in America, mate, like the portions and that, and the thing is, we're programmed, most of us are, like me and you are world's worst for this, right? We're programmed, if there's food in front of us, we'll eat it all, right? It's not even questionable. Like, you know what I mean?
I think that stems from childhood. Like, I remember, I'm not sure, it's like my grandmother was from Italy, so during the war, taking you back to the war days now.
That's all good, mate. Go on.
I'm sure she suffered at the hands of the Germans. They pretty much starved the town where she grew up when they left.
Really?
So the attitude, I guess, was to eat everything on your plate. So that kind of gets passed down from generation to generation. So I remember her, my mother, would say, finish your plate. So when I have food in front of me now, it's very difficult when I am full, not just to leave it for another time. So I'm trying to eat everything on my plate. That kind of stems from when I was growing up. So certainly things that we have or we've seen in our past or done in our past affect us now.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. And she's from Naples, wasn't she? Is Naples, it is Naples, isn't it? Is that like north or south?
South.
South, yeah. That's where the poverty was, wasn't it? Like big time. Yeah, north, they're more agricultural, like kind of up north than then down south, like Sicily and all that is even further down in the island. But yeah, I've heard. Can you imagine though, the World War, like it's totally understandable, isn't it? Like it's, I mean, come on, like really, like wasting food, like you'd totally be the same, wouldn't you? Can you imagine that you've literally faced a famine, you know, your town's been wiped out, starvation, and then like your grandkids leaving food? Nah, it's just unacceptable, isn't it? But like now when me and you look at it, like for example, if we were to have kids or whatever, right? Can you imagine that? Like, you know, you don't really, although a lot of people still listening to this podcast probably think, oh, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, because most people think that. And I did up until about literally a year ago. And I thought to myself, no, actually, like, it's not good. Like, we were talking about, again, off air about my binge last weekend. And, it just happens, man. Like, and I think it is stemmed from that as well. It's not, obviously, it's the fact that the way they cook the food and the shit they add to the food makes it, you know, highly palatable, and you can't stop anyway, right? It's engineered that way. And I had I had a couple of wines as well, which literally, as you said before, mate, it just literally weakened it. It just destroys your inhibitions, doesn't it? So you just don't care. And I was just, smashing food just mindlessly. And, my stomach, literally, I made my stomach, and I was holding water for about 3-4 days, and my stomach wasn't right. But, as I was just saying then, I was just plowing through stuff, mate. Like there's no off button. And that's comes from that as well, man, from just polishing your plate off from a young age.
Yes, that's binge eating sort of right. Is you know, when you're full and you feel yourself full, you just can't stop.
Yep.
Basically, you don't want to eat it, but you're just forcing it, right?
Mm.
What kind of food did you have in that binge? Was it sugary? Was it?
Yeah, it was a mixture of everything, mate. It was salty, sugary, fatty, everything. I had a paella, a massive. We had like one which obviously, like, I'm not going to get one which serves two for two people. Come on, like, so I had one which serves 4. And then I just obviously
just for yourself or for you?
Nah, between me and Kim, but I probably had like, you know, 2/3 of it. So I had that, mate. But do you know what, right, Bond? I was actually fuming, people, right? Because it was epic, right? Don't get me wrong. But I should have just had like a burger and chips. There's this new place that's open, right, called Milky Lane. If there's any Australians listening, they'll know what it is. It's like the best burger. Milky Lane, mate. Bloody Milky Lane, eh? Terrible Aussie accent, but there we go. No, mate, but it's literally like burger, chips, all shit food, milkshakes, bloody, you know, you name it, cocktails, everything bad this place has, right? You know, and I should have just went there because I ended up having this paella. It was, you know, we're quite aware Bond, right? So when you have a mouthful, you're like, uh-oh. You have one mouthful, you're like, what have I done? But I'm going in, like, again, that's a binge eating thing. Like the average person would go, okay, I'm in a pretty healthy state right now. If I eat this, it's going to make me feel like shit for days. Is it really worth plowing through all of it? Lo and behold, mate, I literally smashed all of it, no problem. And then we went to this place it's a place called The Spot, loads of nice restaurants. And there's a place called The Sweet Spot. It's a cake shop. Mate, it's the best cake shop in Sydney, I swear. Went in there and, ended up having like a little tiramisu cake. But that's not enough. You know, again, for the average person, I'll get a cake. No, that's not enough, man. Go and get another one. So I had like 2 cakes. And, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it, mate, but I wish I just had burger and chips. What's that?
Did this come from you being at home and maybe like what kind of food eating at home? Were you off your normal routine and diet, and then you came back and you thought, whether I've been off that diet all week, I'm just going to smash it this weekend.
Yeah, it could have been partly that, mate. But I really didn't see it coming, mate. I was actually, I don't think it was that, mate, because I was actually making an effort with Kim to go and get a poke bowl. There's a reason why we did. That's it. Like, it's a nice place, mate. It's a lovely, healthy food. Do you know poke food? It's like Hawaiian and Japanese. I'm not sure if you've tried that.
I haven't tried it myself, no. I think I've heard of it, no.
Oh, mate, it's wicked, man.
With the vegetables and meat, so...
Oh, mate, it's the tastiest, healthiest food ever. It's black rice. You have, like, black or brown rice. And you can have anything you want, really, and you mix that with all, like, different types of fish, like Hawaiian-style fish, fresh seafood. And, like, they add some sauces to some of it, but it's, like, it's all made naturally. It's all pretty good. Anyway, it's really nice, man. But we were going to have that, but it's not very good in there. There's not much of an atmosphere. So, let's go somewhere with an atmosphere. In the danger zone then, mate. Got well out of hand. I was going to ask you something then as well about, binge eating. Like, how would you define it, Drew? How would you, because that was a good point you said then, right? Just for anyone listening. Like, it's hard to define what binge eating is. And the thing is,
I think that's it. I think just uncontrolled eating, I guess. Like, so when you're full and you're satiated and you've had enough, and you're still delving into foods and it gets out of control where you can't stop. So you're, like, how would, you know, in the past, what's happened to me is I've probably, like, for example, this weekend I had a pizza, right? So that's pretty big for me.
What flavour did you go for?
So we had pepperoni, and we had like a ham mushroom artichokes and olives, I believe.
Oh, mate, artichokes on a pizza. Do you know what, Drew? I only tried that like a few months ago, and I was like, why haven't I had this my whole life?
I'm obsessed with them at the moment.
Bro,
artichokes, man.
So good. Oh, do you have them? Do you have them as like Oh wait, I thought I lost you.
Salad.
Do you have them? Okay, go on, hit me.
Yeah, so but we, like before, I think we've obviously shared pizza before. We've ordered a large one each. So for me, lately, if I've ordered one, I've just gone for like a medium or just a smaller size, and just something that's going to make me satiated, like I said. Then afterwards, if I was following on from that pizza, it'll be dessert, right? So I'm going to enjoy myself. I've had a light the day anyway. So we had a little bit of ice cream.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the point now, at the stage now where I'm not binging, so I'm at a good place. It's taken me a long time to get to this point. Especially when I have that hit of fat sugar combination, it usually leads to an uncontrollable binge. So sometimes I will then go to the shop and I'll look for sweets, cakes, chocolates, whatever I can get my hands on it, and just eat them mindlessly, I guess, in front of the TV.
That's the worst thing. I just want to stop you there real quick. Hold your thought. When I done that podcast with the new nutritionist, the binge eating expert, she said that's one of the worst things. That's one of the top things on the list. She says to people who are looking to shift their eating disorder is do not eat in front of the TV because, and since I've changed that, Drew, it's made all the difference, man. And you know what? When I do, mates, like it does get out of hand. Anyway, mate, you were saying, sorry, bro.
Yeah, so it just leads to uncontrolled eating. I guess like overindulging during different celebrations, or just like consuming massive amounts of calories when not needed.
Yeah.
With this, like,
so you were saying, sorry, mate. I just meant to say. Then you were saying, like, so I'm impressed with this because I've been at the same level until I went to the UK and got taken back down again. But you,
taken down,
man down, bro, man down. UK, terrible food options, mate. You got no hope. I got sucked back in. Anyway, you were just saying then, so you managed to nip it in the bud then, like you maybe. What I was going to say as well, mate. I was just going to say, isn't it crazy that like you can stop it, right? But you know full well, because you're aware what foods trigger you off, right? So you could literally, you don't want it though. I know, like, and I'm the same, I don't want it, but you know, if like, for example, you were off your head, like drunk or whatever it is, wherever you're taking, if you were to, if you were just to like have one, like for example, a little bit of ice cream or I don't know, some little bit of chocolate, it could trigger that off, Drew, right? Into a binge.
Yeah. Massively. Certain foods will definitely trigger me. Usually foods with sugar, sweeteners, things like that, they are my trigger foods. So I tend not to have those in the house.
Explain to the listeners what sweeteners in what foods. Like, not necessarily the actual sweetener, but what food.
It can be, what type of foods that trigger me?
Yeah, like if you've like foods with sweeteners in, like protein bars, or what would it be?
Protein bars, amino acids. If I was still taking supplements, pre-workout, Diet Coke maybe.
Yeah.
You know, it depends really. Like, but I'm at like I said, I'm at a different point now where I haven't had that binge for a long time, and it's under control. But I guess the biggest test comes when we have Thanksgiving for the end of this month, and then Christmas in December, because I'm home for Christmas, so my mother's cooking lots of cakes as well. I'm sure she's going to want to feed me as well.
And she'll be like, eat it all. You do not leave a crumb on that plate, my son, otherwise you get a backhander.
Forcibly, the Italian mother, right? So
she's like, mamma mia, it must be my domino, eh?
Hey, come on.
Hey, come on, Luigi, yeah? You dumb shit.
Hey, eat the pizza. This is terrible. So we'll see at home and see if I can keep it under control there. But I obviously want to try everything. But I feel I'm in a like last Thanksgiving was under control, last Christmas under control. So let's see how this year goes. Yeah,
it seems to me you've improved. Well, the only way was up, wasn't it? From when we were in town, when I was in town for Thanksgiving, the only way was up from there, wasn't it? But it seems to me that you've improved every year, and like you have a bit of. It sounds like to some people, it sounds a bit like, man, like these guys are a bit over the top. But Like they know it's the way to do it. Like you have to have a little bit of a strategy going into these things, and it's not rocket science, is it, Drew? Tell them what you normally do. Like, what will you do this year?
I will just go. I guess I'll have just lighter days. Like, so if I know my meal is starting at 12, 1 o'clock, then am I likely to have a heavy breakfast, like high in carbohydrates, high in fats? Probably not. I'll just go for lean options, more vegetables, something that's going to fill me up, something that's not going to make me, and not going to be too high in calories. So when it comes to dinner, I can just feast a little bit. You know, and I don't tend to go over my calories for the day or for the week, right? So I like the week leading after that, so I know Thanksgiving is the end of the week, so that week before I cut back a little bit, just so I'll enjoy myself on the weekend. And then when afterwards, I'd probably, if I go consume a little bit the next day, I'll just try and get up and move. So drink plenty of water, go for maybe get a gym session if I have the opportunity, see the gyms up and what it is. And then back, so I'll just have a light day, maybe skip a meal or two, and then I'll start feeling better.
Sound,
2 days later.
That's the way, mate.
I think the difference is now I'm kind of questioning how this food will make me feel. So if I have like a pizza in front of me, you know, when it's an occasion where, you know, I want to spend time with my wife, time with my loved ones, with friends, and I'll justify eating that pizza just because it's going to build a healthy relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Same at work, right? Sometimes I have leftover pizzas at work. You know, people say, do you want pizza? And I guess they can tease me sometimes, but I'll think about it. Is it really worth me eating that pizza right now? It's going to make me feel terrible. I'm going to have poor sleep. I'm going to feel groggy. I'm going to feel bloated. You know, I'm not going to probably get a good training session the next day. I have a goal for in 2 to 4 weeks' time. That's going to benefit me in any way.
That's right,
so
mate.
I'm just summing up the options and seeing what works best for me now, you know? So it's going to be good to me. Better off going home to have a good home-cooked meal, whole natural foods, continuing my progress, chase my goals, chase my dreams. What I'm going to have this pizza now, which is going to give me temporary satisfaction, but really, is it that enjoyable, you know?
Exactly, mate. It's mad, though, isn't it? Because we're constantly, unfortunately, the internet went a bit funny then. You were dropping some knowledge bombs, and I couldn't really hear you much on mine. Then that was annoying, but hopefully it'll come through a bit better for the listeners. But no, I was just going to say how it's we're constantly bargaining with ourselves, isn't it? Isn't that crazy? Like, because when it comes to food and stuff, like you were just saying then, like if you literally, folks, like I'm still battling with this now, like with anything. It's not just food. It's just abstinence in general, right? When you're kind of being disciplined, not actually partaking in these short-term pleasures, which, you know, in reality give you a little rush of happiness and dopamine and euphoria, whatever it is, you know, long-term it's not doing you any favors, right? So you're constantly bargaining with, you know, your present self with your future self. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you can actually ask yourself, though, right, okay, like Drew said then when it comes to a pizza or ice cream, like, okay, if you can have a slice or two, that's great. Like, if you can do that, that's great. Like, kudos to you. If you can actually just have 1 or 2 slices and do things in moderation, fair play. Andrew and I are not built for that, are we? So we tend to, like, you know, for us, it's like, oh, how am I going to feel afterwards? I'm going to feel a bit. I think that's what you're getting at as well, Drew, right? Because if we were just to have 1 slice, you wouldn't feel that bad afterwards. Would you drink some water, whatever, cool. But when do you ever have 1 slice of pizza, Drew? Can you remember the last time that happened? I can't.
No. I think it can be all or nothing, especially with guys in the fitness industry, especially from the past. Like, we've been very restrictive for a long time.
I lost you a bit there. I got you. Sorry, mate. Restricted for a long time.
Yeah, sorry. Especially with guys like us from the fitness industry who have in the past built a poor relationship with food. We would have restricted and then binged massively, restricted and then binged massively. So I guess that's where it's come from. It's come from our past, you know? We can have a good week, and on the weekends maybe you overdo it a little bit.
That's it.
You still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's fine. It's just like, it's not as sharp as it was at the start, but it's okay. Yeah, go on.
I'm not sharp, or it's not sharp?
No, you're sharper now, mate. You've livened up a bit. That coffee's kicked in.
Yeah, God.
You were like a plonker at the start. Joking, go on.
Yeah, the coffee's working well now. It's time as well, so nobody can see you on the screen there. So excuse me. It takes time to get to a point where you're in a better state of mind. So again, as if you're someone who's new to fitness and wellness, don't expect everything to happen overnight. We still have, like Martin and myself, still have these constant battles. We're still trying to create habits that will help us over time. So don't beat yourself up if things do occur. Like Martin had a recent binge. You just need to get yourself back in check the next day and have a good week, and then you'll reverse it quite easily. Yeah?
Absolutely. And you can literally apply it to anything. Like right now, like I think me and you are in the same boat now where we've, you've got to tick off each area of your life, and you have got to evaluate sometimes. I think it's good to do that. Like check yourself. Where am I in life? I've got to, if you've got dreams and you've got stuff you want to achieve, trust me, like ain't shit going to happen. The default is failure, right? I always tell myself that the default is failure. If you don't do shit about it, if you don't take action, wherever that is, if you want to get in shape and, you're in maybe an unhealthy state or struggling to get in shape, or you're struggling to get money behind you, unless you take action and start putting sticking your neck out and actually trying to achieve these things and taking action, then, the default is failure. You're not going to get anywhere. So that's why you've just got to give your all really and just give it your best shot kind of thing, So, yeah. Where was I going with that then? I was going to go off on one then and I lost my mojo. Awkward.
Definitely agree with what you're saying there. I think we're kind of, especially our age and a little younger, we're kind of playing that victim mentality right now, right, where we expect everything to happen for us. Yeah. We can play, we move, we're in the working. So if we're not willing to working, then we're never going to get anywhere, right, with our business or modeling. So
Definitely.
It's easy to look outside at Instagram and see people who are relatively successful. Sometimes it's fake, sometimes it's not. But you've got to understand that they're not overnight successes. They've put the graft in. They've been working behind the scenes, working on their trade, and that's why they are that's why they are a success.
Absolutely.
So tell myself when it comes to our online business, my career, modeling, if I'm not willing to put the work in, then I'm going to be sat here in 5-10 years' time saying the same old thing.
Absolutely.
So
that's it, mate. I had this chat. My last guest was an awesome. Did you listen to the Order of Man podcast with the Ryan Mishler guy? Have you listened to that yet? Or
no, I haven't.
Yeah, check it out, man. It was good because he was talking about that. He's a very successful guy, and he was just saying there's nothing pretty about it. It's just there's nothing pretty about it. It's going to be tough. You have to grind. To get that fulfillment at the end of your life and actually have the purpose in your life and create freedom. You have to put the work in. But it's not really rocket science, It's about putting one foot in front of the other. But he was saying, which was interesting, I think, with me and you, work ethic isn't the problem. I think, we've only worked harder and harder I think we do put the work in, but it's a case of doing it smart and actually analyzing and taking a step back. And I think it's those kind of people who, yes, they put the work in, but they're very strategic about it. They're very clever, very smart. They learn off the best kind of people. Like me and you have been doing that, obviously. But, if people listening now, you've got to really learn if there's something you're trying to achieve, like, for example, getting in shape. You need to listen to experts like me and Andrew. If there's anything you want to achieve, you have got to listen and look up and actually mimic what those people are doing. Like if there's someone who's doing something, for example, people who hate on people, I'm going off on it a little bit now. When people say anything bad about someone, that's normally a deflection of what you're feeling. So it's normally the reason you're saying that is because that person has something you want, right? That's what it is, basically. That person has something you want. So like Andrew was saying then, sitting there and complaining about it and saying, oh yeah, but this happened, that happened. It doesn't matter. Like that person, one way or another, there's the, the kind of rare occasions where there's someone who's had it on a silver platter, but generally people who've really put the work in and got to a decent point in their life. And for me, it's like we had this episode before, like how do you define success, right? So the problem is that the world we live in nowadays, success it's not a problem. Everyone's motivated by different things, but success is looked at as how much money have you got and what have you accumulated in your life for a lot of people. And a lot of that's been kind of expanded it's kind of been multiplied with social media and stuff. So with social media, that you look at it and it's like a fake world, right? You're looking and there's people doing this, that, and the other. And that's it. Like, success to me is I look up to certain people who have just got that balance. They're not millionaires necessarily at all. Actually, some of the people I look up to and follow is, they've just created a decent amount of balance. They've got freedom from where they put the work in. And the most important thing is the character they've defined and the resilience and the discipline and all of these traits they've picked up along that journey is what attracts me to those people, So your relationships, your finances, like Andrew and I, we have the health, we have that lockdown, right? We have the relationships. Now the area we're trying to focus on is like, obviously we're trying to build a business together now, an online business, online coaching. And we've got a few ideas, and that's what we're working on now, but it's just finding that balance, and it's a never ending road, Drew, right?
Yes. Hit the nail on the head there, mate, actually. And like I think life, especially as I get older, you find that life's not as easy as you might think. So, as you said, there's going to be a lot of setbacks along the way. And that's why I've been doing a lot of reading and kind of soul searching lately and trying not to let things get to me much, because I've been that person who has felt sorry for myself and has moaned and groaned and I haven't got this, I haven't got that. But I've definitely taken opportunities in my life and I'm living a better life than what I ever have. I need to be eternally grateful for that. That's another thing I've been back practicing is gratitude in the morning and evenings. That certainly helped. But again, like I said, Martin said earlier, it takes time. We're not perfect either. We're at a point with our health and relationships where we're in a good state of mind. But we're still working on those habits that we had in the past. They slip. We bring them back. They slip. So that's, again, with your health and fitness journey, give yourself some time. And everyone wants everything in within 3 to 4 weeks, and things aren't working out. They give up or they change or they're not consistent with the same plan, same routine. And that's why they never get anywhere.
That's it, man. It's a fine line, isn't it? Because like you and I as well, I know right now we could be doing more. I know we could, right? But it's like, it's a fine line between like, we're both like always underachieving, right? So we're like high achiever syndrome, whatever it's called, right? Without blowing our trumpets, we're quite ambitious. And I know a lot of people listening to this are going to be ambitious because they're already, trying to grow by listening to podcasts. So, and that's actually been proven. People listen to podcasts are generally more driven people. Anyway, ambitious people, we're always underachieving. So I always try and check myself sometimes, and I have to, like, for example, at the end of the day, I'll normally pick out 3 things which I've done in the day, because by the end of the day, I don't know about you, Andrew, but I always feel like, fuck, I haven't done enough. Like every single day, it's like I haven't really, like, shit, I should have done. Always a few things slip through the net. I don't know about you, but those things are not really that important. A lot of the time, it does happen that where I procrastinated and I haven't done the important things. But most of the time now, I do get the important things done most of the time, not always. But I think regardless, you've got to be aware that, like, if you're ambitious and you're driven, a lot of the time you're going to feel like you're underachieving. So you need to say, okay, I've done these 3 things. For example, I could look back on my day today and go, I went to see the accountant. I've done that, ticked off my list. That was important. I had a tax bill to pay. Yeah, you're back. I lost you for a second. Anyway, we're back on air. Just saying then, it's important, folks. Like, for example, at the end of the day, I'll look back, I'll go, right, okay, what did I do that was important? I went to see the accountant. That was very important. I had a tax bill, which I was trying to get out of. I went and saw him. And then I basically went on my laptop then, and I had a podcast which didn't come out very good, the quality last time. So I sent that off to someone, got that done. I've done plenty of things. What else did I do then? I also had to get some documents together for the accountant. And it could be anything chores that you had to do which were important. Like, I've done some other stuff as well, I can't remember. But it could be anything. They were my chores. They were my nitty-gritty chores, and I got them done. You can pick any 3. It could be anything like, I smiled at someone. It could be absolutely anything. The point is, switch. Exactly.
Nice,
so that's exactly right. It's just switching your mindset, yeah?
I think the worst thing is letting these kind of tasks, trivial tasks, build up, right? Pile up. Right? So it just gets stressful.
Definitely.
And depressed, really.
Yeah, it does.
You need to let it up. And it just becomes a pain in the ass.
I do that every week, though, Drew. I'm not going to put it straight to the listeners. I do that every week. But the thing is with me, I make lists of things. I don't know about you. I'll add things in my diary, but they're not always that important, right? Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's things slip through the net, right? But, like sometimes you think, I got to do that, got to do this, got to do that. But they're not really that important. Like, you can survive without them. Do you see what I mean? Like you were saying earlier about the blue light blockers, for example. You made a note in your diary. Not that important. See what I mean? You probably put it off for months like I did. Yeah?
Yeah. exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say now you haven't got that long left, so I wanted to drop some gems for the people. Right, we were talking about PTs and stuff. Right, I think it could be quite valuable for us to say, kind of like what things to look out for in a good trainer. Right, because like without being big-headed, there's a lot of shit trainers out there, and are awful, mate. And up until about a few years ago, I was one of them, right? I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was still better than most, I would say, right? But nowadays, like, I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. And that's the thing. That's a great thing about PT, isn't it? Being an expert is never ending.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. When I first started on the gym floor, like looking back at how I was, I guess I was still pretty professional with regards to what I believe in, because I've come from a management side, so I could see the good and bad in personal trainers. But the way I used to coach and train people at that point and train myself was, looking back, was pretty awful. And I would just try and beast people during sessions. My main goal was to make someone hurt, not like hurt themselves badly, but wanted to put them through the toughest session I could find.
That's it.
And that's how I eat.
Thing is, bro, that's what people listening to this now, and they're like thinking, oh yeah, okay, I've had a trainer, or I want a trainer, or I train hard and I enjoy pushing myself. Most people want that though, don't they?
True.
No, but that's the annoying thing. That's the annoying thing though, isn't it?
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I was paying no attention to, like, if they were going through a stressful period in life, or their eating habits were like, how much sleep they were getting. It was just, right, we're getting into the session. Like, am I going to put you on a high volume session today, or CrossFit session? We're going to hit this hard. Off you go. High five, out the door. Now I'm just paying more attention to body signals and how my client's feeling, and kind of evaluating and altering the session based on that.
Okay, so I'll ask you on that then, because I know there's a few PTs who listen to this now, and even if you're not a PT, this is going to benefit you. So what would you say then, Drew, like as a PT, what would you say, like the top three, I know it's a tough one, but the top three kind of, or just anything as a PT.
For trainers?
What would you say, like if you say to someone, right, I want you to focus on these things as a PT because they're important, what would you say, just short and sharp?
I'd say sleep first.
Yeah. Well, for their clients, like for them to apply to
their clients, or for
anything, advice, anything,
If I was given a personal trainer, so if I was telling clients to focus on certain things, I'd say sleep would be number one, right? Funnily enough, people neglect that so much. A good program, a solid program that's periodized, decreasing volume over time.
Explain quickly what that is. Like, explain what a good program is, just for the listeners. Only short and sweet.
Short and sweet. So just taking them through different phases, I guess. So like you may go through a strength phase for 3 to 4 weeks. When your body adapts to that, you then switch up to a hypertrophy-based phase, like 8 to 12 weeks. And then you may for the last, not 8 to 12, in the next 4 weeks. Then for the final 4 weeks of your programming.
So I'm just going to stop you there real quick. Yeah, because if you're a trainer, you need to make sure that you're basically phasing the program for the client. So like Bondi was saying, every 3 or 4 weeks, you should be switching the stimulus from, say, strength to hypertrophy or whatever. And if you're someone who's looking for a trainer or is thinking about getting a trainer, then they should be doing that with you. They shouldn't just be doing willy-nilly sessions. It should be structured. And what else, Andrew? What else would you say?
I guess factoring in how their movement is throughout the day.
What about water? Do you think people have issues with drinking enough water?
Water is another issue. You could go into nutrition. You can delve deeply into this. Again, it's about creating, like, it's not all about like motivation. Like you say, your trainer should motivate you. Yes, maybe during the session, but motivation is short-lived. So ultimately, you're looking to, rather than just motivate someone, you're looking to create those healthy habits that they can turn into a lifestyle, right? So again, implementing that with clients, right? Initial thing might be a simple win. Like if you're a nutrition coach or even a personal trainer, a simple win for you might be to work on their nighttime routine. One win. Then when they've maybe mastered that, then you can say, right, are you drinking more water? That's another win. Then 4 to 6 weeks later, how much protein are they intaking? That's another win. How much fiber are they intaking? So you need to create these habits over time, and gradually that will get easier for your client. I think when you first become a personal trainer, you kind of believe, well, not knocking on all trainers, but this is how I was. Because I did it myself, I believed that I would just hand someone a nutrition plan with the exact foods to eat, exact calories, exact macros. Say, there you go. Eat that this week. Then I would say, right, here's your program. I want you to do this 5 times a week. Here's that. Right, now you need to drink water. And for me, that looked easy to do because I could adhere to that simply, right? But as a client, that can be overwhelming. And for you to adhere to that from the off is not going to happen.
No.
Unless you work with an athlete, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or someone that's a bodybuilder. They will follow it to the T. Be a normal everyday person who has the stresses of life, has work, has family. They're not going to follow that. You've got to implement those small changes, and that'll work well for them over time.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So I would always say to people, like, just literally focus on the simple things. Like I always say, just say, for example, right, I want to get on this path now to fitness success. So I'm going to just do these 3 things. I'm going to invest in a Fitbit, right? I'm going to make sure I do 10,000 steps every day. It's really not hard to do, folks. Really not hard. That's probably about an hour in total, or maybe an hour and 20 of walking a day. Like in total, that's your total steps. It's really not that hard when you're more aware about it. And then I'm just going to drink some more water. I'm going to try and drink maybe 2 to 3 liters of water every day. And it's just literally, okay, so how would you go about that? You buy a Fitbit, you get some bottles of water, so you've got it in the fridge ready. And then what else would you do? Maybe I'll focus on, okay, I'll make sure I lift weights. I've got a trainer, or, you know, I'm just trying to think of something easy that I normally, anyway, I've got a trainer and I'm going to do 2 weight training sessions a week. Even if you haven't got a trainer, I'm just going to make sure I get my 2 weight training sessions in a week, just 2 a week. Resistance training is key for, as we always say, for long-term success with your metabolism, with your body, with your health. And I just wanted to say as well, there's so much science studies now going into the health benefits of lifting weights. For example, like they've done studies on women with breast cancer, and the ones with much more lean muscle mass had like 60% chance more of a better survival rate. So it was a massive, significant amount. So 60% higher chance of living. And then there was like people with even Alzheimer's, people with a low lean body mass were significantly higher chance of getting Alzheimer's. And there's loads of stuff going into it. Osteoporosis, like that. That's the main one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously bone density. Definitely. So it's literally, I know I get passionate about this, but yeah, just focus on the big rocks. So get your 10,000 steps in, drink your water, and get your resistance training in. Doesn't have to be rocket science.
With the resistance training, I think, like I said, I touched on this earlier, like people try and do too much too soon. So as a personal trainer, I was trying to get people to change everything at once. Like with resistance training, again, if you do have a trainer or you're training on your own, like if I was going to the gym as a beginner or someone who just wants to get a decent body, I would just say, right, I'm going to commit to 2 sessions per week. Right, 2 resistance sessions or whatever you enjoy. Generally, I would always favor resistance, rather than say, hey, like most people do when they're trying to change their body. They say, right, I'm going to commit to 5-6 sessions a week. But we know, for the most part, even for me and you, that's not really achievable, right? Mm-hmm. So if you say, I'm going to do 2 sessions per week, and then by the end of the week, you're like, right, I have energy, I'm going to do an extra session or an extra 2 sessions. You can give yourself a pat on the back. But if you say, right, I'm going to do 5 to 6 sessions, you don't actually reach that goal per week, you're going to be a bit pissed off with yourself and you're going to be down on yourself, beating yourself up. So be more realistic, commit to 2, anything on top is a bonus. You commit to too many, you're going to set yourself up for failure. Simple.
Yeah, simple as that. Jobs are good at mate. Well said.
What's some of the, like if you were, you know, with a personal trainer, right? If you were looking to purchase sessions from a personal trainer, like what would you say that you would go for in a trainer? Would you say, I know a lot of people will tend to lean on the side of how you look.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Because you're
yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, mate.
You know, you want to look the part. Is that necessarily one of the best indicators you're a good trainer, or no? What would you say?
No, that's deceiving. That is for sure. And in fact, that could set you up for failure because, like, there's a lot of people who, for example, like online coaches, yeah. Obviously, yeah. Andrew and I are going to enter that space, and it's taken us a lot of time of refining our craft basically to get things right. And, we still need to learn ourselves because when you're coaching someone online, it's completely different to when you have contact with them. But I was going off on one then a bit. What I was going to say is, when you look, the assets you look for in a trainer, yeah, if they're in good shape, then that doesn't really. I mean, don't get me wrong, right?
It is
I
and
mean,
isn't.
it is and isn't. Yeah. So I'm going to track back a bit. You need to be in shape. It actually pisses me off. Trainers who are not in shape, right? Let's face it. You need to be looking healthy. Like without being big-headed. Andrew and I are in like really good shape, right? We're really lean. You don't have to be shredded, like, and in insane shape to be a trainer, by the way, right? But yes, you should look for a trainer who looks healthy and is in good shape. And there's, they know what they're doing.
Is a good, is eating well.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, just that's it. And we're drawn to that anyway. So naturally, you're going to go for someone who looks like that. And if you don't, then that's a bit of a rarity that happens. You do see trainers who are out of shape, but like I think I don't see many of them around here, but you do see it, and that actually really annoys me. But there we are.
But it doesn't not make you a good coach if you're not in shape. Like that's like I guess. So if you're seeing someone that's not in shape, like question them on their knowledge.
Yeah, that's it. But how do you define not in shape? So what I mean is not so much not in shape. I mean like for example, people who are really overweight, right? Like I mean, right. I'm not nothing against people who are overweight at all, right? I'm not saying anything like that. But what I am saying is like trainers who are really overweight and not practicing what they preach. So generally people are going to see through that anyway, right? That's a given. But you should look for tracing a trainer who is actually going to coach you and talk to you and be a mentor, right? Because that's the main thing. Like a therapist is one way of putting it, but I would say more of a mentor, someone who's going to not be a mentor or a life coach, but someone who's going to talk sense into you when it comes to focusing on your health, focusing on the things you're doing outside of the gym. Like Andrew said, get enough sleep, drinking enough water, maybe to keep it a food diary, which is really simple using the app MyFitnessPal. Those kind of things are the things that are going to set you up for long-term success. A trainer who's actually going to teach you, as the saying goes, teach a man how to fish and feed him for a day. Sorry, the other way around. Give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish and feed him for a lifetime, right? So you have to learn for yourself. So a trainer who's going to give you the tools and coach you along the way to do those kind of things, like moving more, drinking more water, tracking your food, being consistent with your weight training, and that kind of stuff. Not a trainer who's just going to wipe the floor with you, beast you, and then go crazy at you and shout at you when you have overeaten on a weekend, and you come in and it's like, and they're shouting at you or they turn their back on you, which I've known trainers to do, which I used to do in the past, actually. So I'm not going to condemn those people. But yeah, that's what you want to look for. Someone who's going to coach you mentally and get you for the psychological side of it, really.
Yeah, and then obviously first impressions count if you're looking for a trainer. So just make sure that you're impressionable. Again, you look the part, but even you dress well. You're smiling. I think the biggest thing I noticed with some trainers is that like they don't really pay attention during the session. Like they're so distracted by the biggest thing I see. Worst thing I see personally. You might think differently. Is that I've seen trainers who are like constantly on their phone during the session. Like I know people are paying a lot of money for my session, so my phone stays in the locker. I've seen.
Do you use a clipboard or an iPad or something to make notes? Because like that's the only thing I make notes on my phone sometimes.
Yeah, I have iPad for programming, and I don't have the messages attached to that or anything like that, so I don't have any disturbances. Like I understand some trainers will use their phone to program as well, so there's nothing wrong with that. I've seen trainers. Like during someone's set, when they're pressing a weight or or whatever concept it might be, they're on their phone looking at their client, and that really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because people, especially in New York, people are paying a lot of money for sessions. You need to be looking at your client all the time, engaged in the actual session.
Definitely, man.
Otherwise,
Definitely.
It's just poor practice, really.
100%. I agree with that, man.
Interested, like. Someone also, if your trainer's like sat down during the session on their ass on the weight, so I think I'm always standing up, and moving around my client, just checking their form, Don't have your hands in your pockets as a trainer. Don't, I see people staring into space, not even making eye contact with their client. Just be good at your job. Like if you see weights on the floor in your gym, maybe it's not your responsibility to pick them up, but do that anyway. But weights the way you've used them, pick rubbish up on the floor, work on yourselves. Simple. It's a simple win.
Wicked, man, wicked. Listen, mate, we can't go on for too much longer because we've dragged this one out of it, but it's all good because we dropped loads of, I think helpful advice at the end there. Yeah. And I was
getting into that.
No, that's right. Sorry, mate. Go on. If you got some more, go on.
Ultimately, like as a trainer, you want to be compassionate and generally want your clients to succeed and reach their dream body or their health goals, and that will show in your work. right? So people will be aware of that. They'll see you working hard, and see they're actually passionate at your job, and they will choose you as a trainer. I actually need to tell you about, like, one of the worst things I've seen is I saw a guy who was training privately. He was behind his client was on a road, and then in front there was a woman cross trainer, right? And so he was, instead of looking at his client, he was Snapchatting on his phone, zooming in the ass of the woman cross trainer.
Are you serious?
Yeah, mate. And obviously sending it off to his friends. It's probably something you've done in the past, right? But
yeah, I actually have. Yeah. I've done that ages ago. Yeah, I'm guilty there. I'm guilty. But that was the old me. The old me's dead and gone. But yeah, no, nowadays I would be pissed. I wouldn't be pissed, but I'd just be like, come on, man, that's a joke nowadays. But I've done it myself, so only once. Literally once I recall doing it, folks, by the way, right?
Yeah. Just professionalism, it's your career. Then if it is your career, then at the end of the day, focus on it and always try to become better. Like we said, we were not the polished article when we first started in the gym floor, right? We out things, looking back and cringing now. We cringe at some of the stuff I do now in the future because I'm always learning. But just look after the safety of your clients. Like if they have a stressful day, make sure that you alter the session based on that. Sleep day. And just get the improvement. Sorry, I'm just.
That's all right, mate. That's wicked. But yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. And so top takeaways there. If you're someone who's looking for a trainer, look out for those kind of assets. Really, it's common sense, but it's basically if you like the person as well. If you like the person, you can have a conversation with them. Yeah, that's pretty much a given. That's huge, yeah, because that person can be able to talk to you, about life, which is actually, we're not life coaches, we're not really therapists, but we kind of are. So it's like just a case of someone who's going to listen to you and not really talk over you, and actually just listen to what you're telling them about. The questions they're asking you in relating to fitness and what you're doing outside of the gym and all the rest of it. But, yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, man.
Knowledgeable, but also personable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen plenty of knowledgeable trainers in the past, much smarter than me, and they can't hold a conversation with a client. It's just awkward.
That's it.
They haven't been picked up and developed their career.
That's it. But most trainers are probably not going to really be doing that well, right? If they can't really hold a conversation, they haven't got those people skills. So generally those people are not going to be the ones who are busy, but watch out for them, right? Like at the same time, just make sure they're not, if you're getting pain anywhere. I know a lot of trainers do push people to, push, regardless if you've got that pain in your knee, push harder, If you're having pain, that's a signal. You need to do something about it, right? And focus on mobility and stuff. But yeah, mate, go on, mate. Anything else you want to say now before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just don't be afraid to, cut your trainer off. If you're looking to train with someone else and you'll feel that you're not, again, we said about being personable, if there's no relationship there and it can be a little bit awkward, or you're finding that the trainer isn't the right one for you, then just be honest with them and cut them off. They'll get over it in time and move on to someone that you feel better for your goals,
There we go, man. There we go. I just wanted to say to the people, if you could actually give me some feedback, and I would like you, if you can, just DM me on Instagram is better. If you're on Instagram, at Martin Silva Fitness. So if you can just do that, because iTunes don't make it easy to leave your feedback. So, but if you can, obviously at the same time, if you can give me a rating and review on iTunes, that's even better. But a lot of people seem to get issues doing it. All you've got to do is just search for Optimize Your Body in iTunes, or in whether it's Spotify, iTunes, or any platform you're listening, search for it. And then on iTunes, for example, search for it, scroll to the bottom, and then click on the ratings, click on give review, and then it'll bring up the options for you to do so. So if you could, that would be great. Yeah. So nice one, mate. Nice one for jumping in, mate.
No worries, mate. It's good to catch up. We haven't had a chat in a while, so.
I know, man. Yeah, it was great to catch up, mate. It's been a while. Get you back on next week or the week after. Peace, bro.
Good. Bye-bye.
Bye.